And a big welcome back to Everyman Driver. I'm your host, Dave Erickson. Thanks so much for watching. The 2014 Acura ILX Hybrid officially went on sale in mid-October of this year, so just last month. Everyman Driver was chosen as the first outlet here in Washington State to test drive this vehicle. In fact, when it arrived here in Spokane, it only had 329 miles on it. Coming up on this episode, we'll pop the hood on this entry-level luxury compact sedan, talk about the fuel economy estimates versus real-world driving numbers. We'll showcase the backseat legroom and headroom, cargo volume, and give you our overall driving impressions of this vehicle. So, let's get started. Under the hood is a very unimpressive 1.5-liter four-cylinder front-wheel drive integrated motor-assisted engine mated to a CVT. When I say unimpressive, I mean underpowered and sluggish. 111 horsepower, 127 pound-feet of torque, so not a lot of juice under the hood. As far as fuel economy numbers, you're looking at 39 city and 38 highway projected. I've been getting in mixed driving, both highway and city, 36.5, and I have done a good mix of both, so a little subpar from what Acura says it's expected to get in this hybrid. Now, if you want to stay within the Acura family, I would suggest looking at the 2014 Honda Acura Hybrid. It's estimated at 50 city and 45 highway, and it's priced about the same. I want to officially introduce Melissa, the Everywoman driver, one of the members of the Everyman Driver automotive team, and Melissa's been driving the vehicle this week off and on, so we can get a different perspective on driving impressions, ride and handling, and so on. So what was your first impression after the first few days of driving this car?
I really like this car. It's really comfortable. There's a couple things that I don't like about it. I guess I'll start with that. One thing I don't like about it is the auto stop when the Eco is on. So the car actually turns off the engine when you're at a light, which is kind of annoying because it's just a little bit of a delay when you press on the gas. And the other thing I would say, and might just be a personal preference, but I don't like that the visor comes down and it really blocks your line of sight. So if you're, say, the first car in line at a stoplight, you have to look underneath the visor to see if the light has turned green. It's kind of annoying. The
visibility is weak.
Poor visibility in the front windshield, I would definitely say that. Other than that, I really like the sleekness of this car. I feel like a bad baller in this car.
Is that your official term, a bad baller?
Yes. I feel like you have to dress in all black like a ninja when you drive this thing.
So how tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
5'5". Besides that visibility issue, overall comfort inside this seat behind the wheel?
I think it's very comfortable. There's a lot of adjustability with the seat because it's automatic, of course, so that's nice. I think this may be also part of the issue with the visor. There's very little headroom here, and so I'm 5'5", and I don't normally have an issue getting into cars. I don't feel like this is really low, but someone who's a little taller would probably feel a little claustrophobic in this car, especially with the visor down, because it really comes into your line of sight. That bothers me.
How about the steering handling? How's that steering wheel? Light, heavy, loose? Do you feel confident behind the wheel?
I definitely do. I think I don't know if I can say it's light or heavy. It feels like I'm in control when I'm here.
Some people talk about being overwhelmed by all the different buttons and knobs here in the instrument cluster as well as the center stack. What's your thoughts?
It's very user-friendly. I like the controls on the steering wheel for the volume and the cruise control. That's pretty typical, I guess, but it's easy to use.
How about the acceleration? Do a little acceleration test, and how does it feel? It kind of sounds like it's really revving, doesn't it?
It sounds like it is, but it doesn't feel gutless. It definitely has some balls.
Bad baller, balls. Any other ball references you want to make?
Okay, here we go. We're gonna stop. It's auto stopped. Okay, let's turn this old girl on, because I thought it was supposed to charge the battery. Okay, when the Econ's on, it doesn't shut off. Oh, it does. Okay, I'm delusional then. See, it's just kind of irritating, like that on and off. I guess it's maybe because we have, you know, a culture that you just want everything to react right that second. And it's so subtle, but it still makes a difference.
I find that delay with the engine also carries over into this processor speed. You know, I'm flipping through navigation or the radio, and there is a bit of a half a second delay. And we are so used to having instant feedback on things, and I find everything a little bit on the slow side, and I don't think the trade-off is worth it when it comes to the fuel economy savings. As I mentioned earlier when I was under the hood, fuel economy is supposed to be right in the upper 30s, 38, 39, but I've been below that all week in mixed driving, so I don't know, I'm not sold on this hybrid.
It's a great looking car though. Aesthetically, it's very nice. If I were gonna buy this car, if I could afford this car, I wouldn't buy it in the hybrid, just because of, you know, the delay. I like the EcoBoost, but I don't do enough driving. I think it really, obviously it's a personal preference. If you do a lot of driving, it might be worth it for you, but for the extra cost, for me, I wouldn't invest in that. Look at the turning radius. She's tight like a tiger.
Toit like a tiger.
Toit like a tiger.
All right, Melissa, thanks very much. I think this goes well. We may actually have to have your own channel, the Every Woman Driver channel.
Do I get paid for this?
Well, we'll see what our viewers say.
Okay.
On a positive note, the ILX Hybrid is chock full of standard features, including Bluetooth connectivity, a rear view camera, a USB port, and voice messaging features that pairs with compatible smartphones to read texts aloud. The technology package adds an upgraded audio system with surround sound, real-time traffic and weather updates, a hard drive with 15 gigabytes of media storage, and an 8-inch navigation screen. Some people will tell you that the dashboard is cluttered with knobs and buttons, but I think the controls are accessible and easy to use. Let's take a look now at your real-world legroom and headroom in the back of the ILX Hybrid, and I think this is what you would expect in an entry-level luxury compact sedan. Now, the seats are comfortable and fairly supportive, but when it comes to legroom, it leaves much to be desired. I'm 5'11". This is where I left my position as a driver here in the front, and there is virtually no room between my knees. No flex space between my knees and the back of the seat. As far as headroom, again, as a 5'11" adult, if I were to lift up just a little bit, my head is going to be hitting the ceiling. So anyone who is 6'1" or taller, it's going to be cramped back here. As far as storage and other accessibility things here, there's no container behind the driver's seat, but there is one here behind the passenger seat. You do have 4 blank handles all the way around, and you have the sliding sunroof, so that gives it a little bit more light in here, but it's pretty basic. I mean, this black interior does make it feel a little closed in, maybe claustrophobic. Oh well. And this does fold down. This armrest here, a pair of cup holders. So this is somewhat comfortable. Don't get me wrong, I like this interior comfort-wise, but space needs to be a bigger vehicle for someone like myself. You can definitely get 2 adults back here, but a third, you would be really tight shoulder to shoulder. There are 3 ways to open the trunk lid of the ILX Hybrid for 2014. There is a button on the floorboard next to the driver's left foot. There's also a button here in the key fob. Press and hold that. Otherwise, there's a button just below the Acura icon. Press that, and up comes your trunk lid. Now, if you thought it was cramped and claustrophobic in the back seats for the passengers, it doesn't get much better here in the trunk. 10 cubic feet of volume. It is a tight space here. They do have just below the floorboard back here a pump, a mechanical pump in case you have a flat. There is no spare tire to speak of. Now look at the opening of the trunk. What do you think you could get back here? Besides, there's plenty of room for groceries, don't get me wrong, and a set of golf clubs, maybe 2, and some other smaller items, but take a look at this space here. In fact, I brought my tape measure because I I think this will surprise you. Just going from the entry to the bottom to the top, we're looking at, gosh, under 17 inches, more like 16 and a half. Width-wise, you're looking at about 43 inches. Do you think it'll pass my 30-gallon storage bin test? Well, let's find out. I think you know the answer, right? There is no way this is getting back here at all in any direction. Well, I mean, I could do this, but that's as far as it goes. 10 cubic feet of volume doesn't give you a lot of storage space, but then again, we are looking at a compact sedan. So there you have it. That's your cargo and trunk space in the back of the 2014 Acura ILX Hybrid. The MSRP here on the 2014 Acura ILX Hybrid is $28,900. The only other trim level available is a technology package, and the price jumps up quite a bit, $34,600. That'll wrap it up for this episode of Everyman Driver. By the way, if you haven't already, check out the Everyman Driver news channel. That's where we post automotive news and headlines, car show videos and demos, international and domestic, as well as consumer tips and advice. Until next time, I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks for watching.